the mighty Mississippi, the economic backbone of early America, running north to south for more than 2,000 miles, carrying the people and cargo that helped to turn this country from a fledgling upstart into a powerhouse. For much of the 19th century, steamboats like this ruled the river. But in 1879, construction began on a transcontinental train line that would link the newfound prosperity with the isolated far west, connecting the Gulf of Mexico with the Pacific Ocean. On this journey, I'll be following the railroad that pushed the American dream along the Mexican border all the way to California.
Every trip is unique. It's a moving city.
And I'll be meeting some of the people who helped define this unique, diverse and fascinating part of the country. New Orleans, my first port of call. Right now, in the middle of one of its annual street parties, the French Quarter Festival. The area gets its name from when the French founded the city in 1718 as a strategic port on the Mississippi and Gulf of Mexico. The Spanish also ran the city before it was bought by the US in 1803. And you can see all these influences in New Orleans' world-famous architecture, food and music. That is New Orleans, exactly how I imagined it. A brass band going down the street and a whole crowd following them, getting into the vibe. Fantastic. Now, the city might be best known for jazz, but you can also find a type of music here that I've never encountered before. Chubby Carrier is a Grammy Award winner and the third generation of a legendary zydeco playing family. The music, zydeco. Tell me about it.
Zydeco music, a lot of people get it mixed up with Cajun music. But if you hear zydeco music, you're going to hear more of blues, R&B, soul, and rock and roll mixed in one.
This, Chubby says, is the expression of Louisiana's black Creole community. That's a bit of African, a bit of French, and some Caribbean all mixed up. And apart from the accordion, Chubby says the essential instrument in the zydeco sound is the one that evolved from his grandmother's washboard.
This is my grandmother's washing machine. This is her washing machine back in the day. And you hear them rivulets? The buttons on your shirt would make that little sound like this. And the grandmother was washing clothes at the time. And of course, the daddy that was playing the washboard going, hey, that thing sounds good. It might fit with the accordion. Bring it over here. She said, you must be out of your mind. This is how I do my laundry.
Can I?
You should try it, man. Yes. It's our percussion in zydeco.
Very loud. How are you doing that with that?
And the left. You have the rhythm going like this in the air. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Touch the thing.
But when you hit the board, you lose it.
I know why.
I don't know.
The streets are packed, and there's a jubilant atmosphere here. But it's been hard won. It's taken more than a decade for tourist numbers to recover from the devastation of Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Music has helped the city get its mojo back, and festivals like this are busier than ever. I feel lucky to have a ringside view.
Because when he point that camera to you, I want you to shake in your booty like your mama give it to you. We're going to send this back to London and let them know how we do it in New Orleans, huh? Let's get it on, man. Jump in.
And then, after my frankly disastrous 10-minute lesson, this happens.
BBC travel here, London, England, y'all.
And the party goes on long into the night. But I have got an early start and a very long trip ahead of me.
So, that was New Orleans in all its flamboyant glory. It's 8 in the morning, and today I'm heading west.
Seat number 21. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And the service I'm taking is the Sunset Limited train line. The route dates back to 1894 and stretches some 2,000 miles coast to coast from New Orleans to Los Angeles, passing through 5 different US states. An odyssey, really.
So this is a route steeped in history, but I'm hoping it's also going to tell me something about contemporary America too.
Stairs from 18 to 19.
Lovely, thank you so much.
You're right up the stairs.
Thank you.
Back in the day, several railroad franchises joined up to create this Pan-American rail network. And all along the route, significant landmarks, historical and natural, reveal themselves to passengers.
So this is a view of the Mississippi River on the Huey P. Long Bridge. We're right in the middle of 2 lanes of traffic, which is a weird feeling. God, it gets rocky, doesn't it, sometimes?
One of the tricks about moving throughout the train is to keep your feet about shoulder width apart.
Okay.
And just keep one hand free so you can touch things as you're going through, whether it's the backs of the seats. Between the cars there, we have the grab irons that you can use.
Have you ever fallen on the customer?
Yes. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Our next station stop will be New Iberia in approximately 30 minutes.
Train supervisor Bruce is a veteran of the Sunset Limited line.
The railroad was what created the United States. It opened up transportation from east to west. And that was the big thing, was transportation of both goods and people.
The train might have been instrumental in the creation of modern-day America, but today rail use is way below that of air and road travel, which are often cheaper and quicker. So why would anyone take the train?
You have areas that you basically don't have planes flying into, and you don't have Greyhound buses going to. And so these isolated areas in Texas, especially in New Mexico, this is the lifeblood to get transportation through. Every trip is unique. It's a moving city, so you have people giving births, you have people that are...
That's happened?
Oh yeah, on the train. You know, sometimes we're an hour away from civilization, and babies don't wait.
We just crossed the line, so go guys. All right. Texas.
On we roll as we cross into Texas and are joined by a group of train buffs on a day trip.
So are you mostly here because of them, because of these two?
Yes, he saw Thomas the Train one time when he was about 2 years old, and since then he's been all about trains. So.
Join the club.
Yes.
I actually have a couple of in-scale Amtrak cars, and since I got them, I thought they looked so good that I was waiting for a long time to ride on Amtrak. And I was thinking it was like a time to hit the tracks.
And some people don't get into the smaller areas, the smaller towns. So by going through the back areas, you have an opportunity to expand the mind, because once the mind expands, it can never return to its original dimension.
My next stop is the city of San Antonio, but not before the Sunset Limited lives up to its name.
San Antonio is a modern, prosperous city. In fact, now it's America's 7th largest. It's very cosmopolitan and in many ways not stereotypically Texan. But it has got one historical attraction which gets to the very heart of what it means to be American and more especially Texan.
This is the Alamo, a legendary site in US history where in 1836 a small group of troops fighting for Texan independence were laid siege by a much larger Mexican army. The Texan forces held out for 13 days before they were overwhelmed and killed.
Dr. Winters, Bruce, I think.
Yes.
How are you?
But historian Bruce says it would be simplistic to see it as baddie Mexicans versus goody Americans.
This is a story about people. This is a story about two nations. This is a story about the idea of what should government be like. It's really the convergence of Mexican history and U.S. history.
The battle became a symbol of historic resistance and the struggle for independence which the Texans won later that year.
Company, prepare to load in 12 times. Ready, load.
Today, the Alamo is one of the state's top tourist attractions, and reenactors help visitors make sense of its complex past.
Fire!
So I've been talked into having the full Alamo experience here. But Ryan, tell me, there's a point to this, isn't there? This is living history.
Absolutely. So as people come in here, they can see how we would have cooked coffee, how we would cook meat over the fire, the kind of foods that we would have had here. Parched corn and beef was what they had to eat during the battle. And so what we try to do is just let people in on that side of history and give them kind of a taste, that same emotional experience.
What do you think was the mood of the people who were in this situation, waiting, in a sense, for the Mexicans to come?
This was home for them. This was their chance for a new life. And so in that, they were willing to fight for something greater than themselves, which is kind of that, in my view, that's kind of the amazing feeling you get at any battlefield site.
This epic fight for freedom from Mexico might be part of the folklore of San Antonio, but Hispanic influence is also a huge part of the city's current identity. We're only 2.5 hours drive from the border, and contemporary Mexicana is celebrated here, like loteria.
When you win, what do we say?
Loteria.
What don't we say?
Bingo.
All right.
Bingo.
So if you say bingo, I won't hear it. We don't use that B word. We say loteria. All right? Does anybody else have this question?
You join a team, put the t-shirt on, and realize this is about family, community, and winning.
El diablo.
El Diablo, the devil.
Diablito.
You got the devil?
The devil. Next card. El venado, the deer.
I think you
El venado.
Did I? Oh, el venado, the deer. Excellent.
El melón.
El melon. What have you got? You got the melon?
Cantaloupe.
I haven't got the melon.
Oh, we got loteria over here. Let's check it.
Oh, someone's won already.
Yes, we got a winner. Congratulations. All right, now, new game. We all know loteria. It's important to us because my grandma didn't know English. I didn't know Spanish growing up. I wasn't taught Spanish all that much. I was taught Tex-Mex. So playing with my grandma, it gave us quality time with each other because we're both learning. She didn't know English, I didn't know Spanish. So right there we had a connection during the game.
Hola, hello everyone. I'm from London. I'm gonna bring you luck, okay? You ready for this? I'm gonna bring you all luck. How's my team doing? Hey, good. El barril, the barrel. How are we doing out there? Anyone close? Anyone close to winning? Loteria! We have loteria! Are you sure? Seguro? Okay.
Let him know he did good. It's his first time playing, right?
Yeah, first time.
His very first time playing. So maybe let's let him win.
What's it like being Mexican-American? What's that like?
I wouldn't change it. I love being Tex-Mex. I love being from Texas. I'm all about Texas. I have a shirt that says, I just look illegal, which is true. A lot of people here just look illegal when they're not illegals. You know, just because we're darker, it's hot out. It's hot in Texas. Our ancestors are from there, but we were born here in the United States. So don't try to send us back somewhere we're not even from.
The next day, and a few more stops down the train line deep into southern Texas, and you find yourself even closer to the Mexican border. The last frontier, some call it. Alpine Station is the jumping off point to one of America's most remote national parks. We drive through a vista that feels straight out of a Western. They call it Big Bend, after a twist in the legendary river here that today separates the USA from Mexico, the Rio Grande.
This is the Rio Grande.
Welcome to the border.
Yeah.
This year marks the centenary of the foundation of the National Park Service in the USA. And what a spectacular asset they are.
So just to get our geography sorted, Erin, where is Mexico, where is USA?
So we have Mexico over here.
There, yeah.
And Texas over here.
Yeah.
The actual border is the deepest current in the river.
This would be the spot where some politicians in the US want to build a border wall. Not sure how they'd manage that here. And it's not just this spectacular border with Mexico that makes the park unique.
It's in the Chihuahuan Desert. The Chihuahuan Desert extends north into New Mexico, but this park definitely contains the biggest chunk of the Chihuahuan Desert. And then there's the Chizos Mountains, and you get up in the high mountains, and you get different species of animals like black bears and mountain lions and trees. So you got a big diversity in flora and fauna.
710. This is Ranger Jurado out on foot patrol in the Panther Junction area.
And there's more to this wild corner of the earth than its incredible diversity of living species. Big Bend has more dinosaur fossils than any other national park. Over 90 different species have been discovered here, dating back 80 million years.
This is called a coprolite, which is fossilized dinosaur fecal material.
Dinosaur poo is what you mean?
This is dinosaur poo, that would be correct.
And that is fossilized, that stays
hard as a
for
rock.
millions of years. Wow, wow. That's the first time I've held dinosaur poo.
A new exhibit dedicated to the dinosaurs is opening at the park in September. It will include these giant bronze casts of fossils.
This one is a crocodilian. This is Deinosuchus riograndensis. We call it the Big Bend super croc. You can see from its size, it's a well-named species.
I've seen crocodiles today, and they're pretty scary, but this is massive, it's huge.
Right, with about a 6-foot-long skull, it would have had somewhere around a 40-foot-long length for the entire animal. Sometimes we find scarring in other fossil bones from Deinosuchus' teeth. So he literally ate dinosaurs.
He ate dinosaurs, incredible, isn't it?
The landscape here may have remained unchanged for millennia, but the fact it contains 118 miles of border zone is more relevant today than ever.
100 years ago, the people in this region, the border wasn't a significant part of daily life. The river was. So we had families that would live on the United States side with cousins in Mexico. There would be crossing, there would be floodplain farming. There would be a multinational community here because the boundary wasn't considered to be a significant part of daily life. Now we've made it a significant part of our politics.
Jeanette and I head off to get a high vantage point of the Rio Grande River and a Mexican town across the border.
We have the community of Boquillas, Mexico over here, which has just a couple hundred people. But beyond that, if we get into the hills over there, that's protected land in Mexico.
People can legally move between the two countries at an official crossing point in the river. There are also schemes where both sides work together to protect the environment.
Sometimes they help us out with protecting our resources from wildfire, and sometimes we partner together to remove invasive species to help make the entire Rio Grande a better place.
So the first half of my trek across the southern stretch of the USA ends literally a stone's throw from Mexico. It's wonderfully tranquil here, so it seems kind of odd that this place has found itself at the front line of politics. I'm going to relish my last moments of serenity because next week I'll be continuing my journey west, where things start getting strange.
You and I have just started something that we can't stop. There's no big oops button down here.
Kenny, there's only one problem, right? What was that? We're on this thing, and there's no one to turn it off. Does that mean we're on here for like forever?
Well, in theory, that could happen.